you. Hyman. Again, if you have questions, please use the raise hand function. If you have a follow-up question, please limit it to one follow-up. We'll start with Tony Barrar, Oilers TV.
Hey, Zach, welcome to Edmonton and congratulations on your contract. Saw the Twitter bio, the profile pic, the header has all been changed to everything Oilers. Is it safe to say that you're fired up to be an Edmonton Oiler?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that. I'm extremely excited about the opportunity to join this group and be a part of something special here. So I can't wait to officially get started.
Zach, when talking to the organization, what was it about the Edmonton Oilers that most pleased your eye and made you feel like you were a great fit for this hockey club?
I think first and foremost, I think that, most important to me is to go to a team that has the opportunity to win. And in Edmonton, we played Edmonton, I should say we, but last year when I was on Toronto, we played against Edmonton a bunch. And I just see there being so much opportunity and a chance to win a Stanley Cup with the players they have there. And that opportunity, and then just the city and the passion and the fan base. I'm just so excited to be joining an organization like Edmonton, and I can't wait to get started.
You've had the opportunity in your career to play with guys like Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. Now you have an opportunity to play with guys like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. How excited are you about that?
Yeah, I'm extremely excited. I've gotten to know Connor a little bit the last couple of days. I've started to train and get to know him and Darnell. So that's been great. And, those two players, having played against them, more so than ever this year, you realize how special they are and how much they can change a game. So to have the opportunity to potentially play with those guys is definitely one of the reasons I chose Edmonton. And, I'm extremely excited to see them in action.
Reed Wilkins, 630 Tread.
Zach, welcome to Edmonton. It was reported that you came here about a week ago, and that perhaps, you could correct me if I'm wrong, that maybe you did that on your own. That wasn't sort of an official visit with the team. Why was that important to you? What did you do? What did you see? Can you elaborate on that visit, please?
Yeah, 100%. It was something that I chose to do. Paid my way out there. I came with my wife. I thought that, Edmonton for me was a place that I wanted to play. And I thought it was important that we go out there and we see the city. My wife's never been to Edmonton. In the past, this past year when I visited Edmonton, we couldn't go anywhere. We just were stuck at the hotel. So I didn't really have a chance in the past to visit the city and actually see everything. So that was extremely important to me. And my wife and I were really excited about the opportunities. So we went down there, we visited, we saw the neighborhoods that we could potentially live in. We saw where, we have a 7-month-old son named Theo. So that was important for us to see where he could potentially grow up. And it really checked all the boxes. And then I was able to tour the rink and it's as you guys all know, it's pretty awesome. And it's an incredible facility. And I got to meet the management team and it was just, for me, it was so important to see everybody. I got the opportunity from Toronto to speak to teams, and for me, before I make a decision, I wanted to talk to the team face to face, and I got the opportunity to do that. And like I said, I chose to go out there. I paid for it, did all that stuff. So, but it was really important for my wife and I to get out there.
And on perhaps a bit of a lighter note, I think the chances of you wearing number 11 with the Oilers are non-existent. Have you thought about or selected a new number?
Yeah, no, I'm sure I'll put some thought into that now. I think just today was focused on making everything official and putting pen to paper and becoming an Oiler. And I'm sure I'll be able to pick out a number. There are lots of good numbers out there, and it's always nice when you go to a new place, a new opportunity. I got a Siberian Husky, and she, I think, is the most excited about going to Edmonton. So I just got to let her out quickly. 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, I haven't chosen a number yet, but obviously 11's off the table. 1 second. Sorry. All right.
Next question, Gemma Carson-Smith, Canadian Press.
Hey, Zach, what's your dog's name?
My dog's name is Lady.
Oh, lovely. On a more serious note, I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about any conversations you may have had with other teams, or was it really all focused on Edmonton?
No, I think, like I said, I got the opportunity to speak to other teams, which is, a really unique situation in free agency. So I was grateful for that opportunity from the Leafs. And, for me, it was important to kind of close off the door with Toronto. And once I did that, it was looking at all the different opportunities out there. And yeah, I had a bunch of conversations. My agent, Todd Reynolds, was, fantastic throughout this whole process, and, really appreciate all of his work on this. And it was such an emotional roller coaster for us, and he kept everything in check. And once, Edmonton came to the forefront, it was an opportunity that I thought, from a hockey fit, from an opportunity to win a Stanley Cup fit. And then when I went out to see the city from just a place to live, it just seemed like everything, all the boxes checked. So, once I was able to see the city, and my wife was able to see the city, it was a no-brainer for me, and just extremely excited about the opportunity.
And you talked about it being a bit of an emotional roller coaster. What's it like to be leaving your hometown team?
Yeah, no, I think that anytime you leave a place you've been for a long time, it's going to be emotional, not just from a hockey standpoint, from a people standpoint. I've made such great relationships with not just the players, but the athletic therapists, the strength coaches, the equipment managers. Those guys really round out the team. And when you move, you move away from those guys. So and I'm a guy who stays in the city and works out year long. So I've built really strong relationships with those guys. And obviously from a player standpoint, you build strong relationships, and you are a family. And hockey is like that, where change is inevitable. So for me, when I say emotional roller coaster, is more so about, leaving and not being able to see the people. But once that kind of sunk in, that I was on the move, it was really exciting for me, because the opportunity, you start thinking about the opportunity, you start thinking about, what's next. So, and Edmonton was always at the forefront of that.
Daniel Nugent-Bowman, The Athletic.
Hey, Zach, you've obviously played with some pretty good players. I know you referenced that earlier, and Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. By all accounts, it sounds like you'll get a first crack here with Connor McDavid, which I'm sure is exciting. What do you think you can bring to his game, and what do you think he can bring to your game that will hopefully, for your sakes, kind of establish a good chemistry there?
Yeah, no, I think obviously Connor McDavid is he's a special player. He's a generational type player. And I think for me, I've had the opportunity to play with great players in the past, like you mentioned, Austin and Mitch and John and Willie here in Toronto. And for me, it's always been about bringing my work ethic every day, being consistent, and trying to create as much space as I can for the guys that I played with. And with Connor, obviously, he's a guy who takes advantage of space. His speed is off the charts. And if I can create space for him, then I think everybody in the world knows what he's capable of doing. So if I'm lucky enough to play with him, then I'm just going to go out there and play my game and try to get him the puck as much as possible and try to give him as many, second and third opportunities, because I think he's so good at creating things by himself. If I can continue to try and get the puck back for him and try to get it back in his hands, then we'll be in good shape.
So it's kind of a two-parter here. First, can you explain a little bit about the background? It seems very Oilers-centric there. And also, I'm just curious about how much consideration there was to staying in Toronto. I imagine, you're from there, you signed your first contract there, you played there a while. It would have been a very hard decision, I'm imagining.
For sure, yeah. So that's obviously Wayne Gretzky, Andy Warhol copy of it. So it's just something that I liked, and it's just funny how obviously I'm going there now. So I got this a while ago. My uncle gave it to me, actually, which was a nice gift. And then from a leaving Toronto standpoint, I think for me, I had a conversation with Kyle to really get closure on the situation. I think that for me, I had to know that, I was leaving Toronto, and then I was able to, make a decision, and Edmonton was always there, and Edmonton was at the forefront. I keep saying that, but it's the truth. Just there's a lot of parallels between Toronto and Edmonton. I think that, in Toronto, we had great teams, but we didn't have success. I think that Edmonton, is positioned in such a great way to make a long run and to win a Stanley Cup. And I think that's everybody's goal. And that's the reason that I chose to come and play here, is because I believe in this team. I played this team a bunch last year. I believe in the players that they have, and I believe that I can be a good addition to it. So just extremely excited about that opportunity.
Ryan Rashog, TSN.
Hey, Zach. Just wondering if in that window where you're able to speak with other teams, would you say that there were any other serious considerations at that point, kind of knowing that it probably wasn't going to happen with Toronto? Did you have kind of fallback plan in your mind, or was this pretty front and center the entire time?
Yeah, no, I think Edmonton was front and center for me the entire time. I think that they're a team that really valued my skill set and really wanted me as well. So I think that the fit was just perfect, because it was an opportunity for me from a hockey standpoint that I thought that, I can take the next step in my career and be an even better player than I was in Toronto. So that really excited me to have the opportunity to potentially play with, two of the best players in the world, and then to win. So I think that, as soon as that, in my mind, as soon as I closed the door in Toronto, it was all Edmonton, and it was the only place I visited, because I just knew that it was the right fit for me. And my wife, once she got to see the city and got to meet some of the people, she was all in as well. So we're just extremely excited.
Were you able to speak with any of the guys in that time where you had permission to talk to teams? Like, were you able to, talk to Connor or anybody, and what indications did you get from them about the direction they feel this thing is heading in, and what was the messaging to you from players? Yeah, no,
I think once I visited, and once internally, I think once we made the decision, that's when, I spoke to Connor, obviously, and first thing I said to him was, where do you train in Toronto? Because I need a new spot to train, because obviously I was training at the Ford Performance Center, but so I got the opportunity to start to train with him early, him and Darnell, and see how hard they work. And it's been an incredible, couple of days here. And then just, obviously Connor really believes in this city, believes in this team. He's excited, about me joining as well. He was somebody, who when I talked to him, was just really excited about my decision. So I think everything kind of aligned, and when I had a conversation with him, it was exactly what I wanted to hear. And then Leon reached out, a bunch of the guys reached out, and I think it's just such a great group. I had former teammates who are now going to be teammates again, like Tyson Barrie, who I reached out, talked to, and asked him about the city, asked him about the group. Tyler Ennis is another guy who I played with, reached out to him. So everybody said great things. There wasn't one person who said a bad thing about the city of Edmonton or about the players, and it just, everything, like I said, it checked all the boxes for me, and that's when I said, yeah, let's do it.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Zach, when you went to University of Michigan, the first couple of years you didn't get a lot of points. Did Red Berenson change the way you played to where now you play the way that you wanted you to play in college?
Yeah, going to Michigan it changed my career, changed my life. I think most, when you're a kid, all you care about is scoring points and trying to get to the next level. And a lot of times the way you get noticed is through your statistics and because, there aren't that many scouts that are watching you at lower levels. And I always thought that, in order to make the NHL, you have to have great statistics and you have to have great points. So when I went to Michigan, that's kind of what my focus was on. And I played on the fourth line my first 2 years, and I really learned, how to play on the defensive side of the puck, how to penalty kill. And I remember Red calling me in his office and telling me, you're not going to make the NHL scoring goals and putting up points. You're going to make the NHL with this kind of foundation that I'm going to help you build. And so I built that defensive foundation, and Brian Wiseman, who's now a coach with Edmonton, was there. And after my second year, I really wanted to work on my skill work and get better. And he was a guy who really spent time with me and helped me develop, and then had a really big breakout senior year, scored a bunch of goals, points, played with Dylan Larkin, and it set my career up. But the foundation that I built in my first couple of years there, where it was an offensive struggle for me, I think, really helped my career and really helped define the player that I am now.
How difficult is it to play the style you do? It looks like it could be a little on the exhausting side. You have all these board battles. You're behind the net. You're in the corners. You're trying to get the puck to the front of the net. You're not rushing up the ice like Connor McDavid.
No, I think each player has to find their skill set and what makes them unique and what makes them different. For me, it's the puck battles. It's going into the corner. It's competing every night. It's bringing an energy that can, that is hopefully unmatched. And I think that's really unique to my skill set. And I try to bring it every single day I'm out there. And through the years, I think I've developed, on the offensive side as well, and bearing my chances and scoring and making plays. And, when you play with skilled players, they want you to be able to make plays. They don't want you to just dump the puck in and go get it. And I think that in, my first couple of years in Toronto, I was more focused on just doing the right things and going to get the puck. And then as I started to develop as a player, I held on to the puck a little longer while I was still going in the corner, getting the puck and battling, going in front of the net and scoring goals in front of the net. I was making more plays and trying to get the pucks in the hands of my skilled line mates and give them the opportunity. So I think as I continue to progress here, I'm going to continue to try to evolve as a player. And I think every year I've gotten better, and I put the work in the summer, and I'm excited to take the next step in my career and progress.
Two more questions. Joshua Clope and Tony Berard. Joshua, go ahead.
Hey, Zach. How do you look back on your time in Toronto?
Yeah, no, I think I'm really proud of my time in Toronto. I think even though we didn't win and we didn't get over the metaphorical hump, I think that from the time I got there to the time that I'm leaving the organization, from a culture standpoint, from a hockey standpoint, from an expectation standpoint of where the team is, I think it's dramatically different. And, for a Toronto kid to have the opportunity to play for his hometown team and start his NHL career, I couldn't ask for anything more. I'm going to write something out to Leafs Nation, a thank you later today, and let them know how appreciative I am of my time in Toronto. I think I'm really proud of the work that I put in here, and I can honestly say that every time I put the Leafs jersey on, I gave it everything I had, and I think when one chapter closes, another one opens, and I'm more than excited to embark on this new journey with the Oilers and go and win the Stanley Cup.
Given that you were a hometown guy, was it difficult for you, just kind of from an emotional perspective, to say goodbye to the team?
Yeah, of course. I think, my family lives in Toronto, so I think that there are multiple layers to when you leave a city, not just from a hockey standpoint, from a life standpoint too. So, most players don't play their entire career in one place, and that's a reality. And for me, I wanted to go to the place that wanted me the most, and that had the best chance to win. And had the best chance for me to develop as a hockey player, and Edmonton checked those boxes. Once that Toronto door closed, I couldn't have been more excited about Edmonton and the opportunity ahead.
Final question, Tony Brar, Oilers TV.
Hey, Zach, I'm talking to someone who isn't too familiar with some of your work outside of hockey. I know you're an author, I believe some children books under your belt, and also esports. I'm not sure if E11 gaming is esports. Can you elaborate on those two and why that's so important for you to have that balance outside of hockey?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Tony. I think, obviously I'm a person who follows their passions. Hockey was always a passion of mine. I always wanted to be a hockey player. So I went out and tried to be a hockey player, and luckily it worked out. Writing was another passion of mine, and it kind of fell into that. I'll elaborate, I guess, more. I don't want to take up too much time, but it's a longer story, but it's just, it was a passion of mine, and I continue to work on it. And I have 3 published children's books out there. And then gaming is another passion of mine, and went out and started my own esports company, 11 Gaming and Soar Gaming. I'm actually wearing the Soar logo right now, funny enough. But I'm a guy who likes to do things outside of hockey. I think it's so important to be a multifaceted individual, because the hockey season, as we all know, it's a roller coaster, and sometimes you need an outlet to get away. And for me, it's doing things that I'm passionate about. And I think it's important for everybody to have something outside of hockey that motivates them, and that they can kind of get away for a little bit, so that when they come back to the rink, whether you're having a good day or a bad day, you're refreshed and you're all in with your job.
Beautifully put. Thanks, Zach, and congrats again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, media. This concludes Zach Hyman's media availability. Please stay tuned for Warren Fogel's media availability. Thanks again, Zach. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.